Good morning, everybody. Joe Ciaccio here. Happy Thursday to everybody. Hurricane passed us, really didn't give us any damage here, yet people in the Bahamas really got hit kind of hard. I know a lot of my friends as well as myself are giving to the families over there, so if you can, or if it's something that you can afford to donate some money to those folks there, I think it'd be very nice. No matter where there's some type of tragedy or something goes wrong, it's kind of nice. So with that said, I want to talk about just plain old common sense today. Just plain old simple common sense, like 1, 2, 3, ABC. Because this is what ends up happening. We talk about the bonus we're going to get with Ciaccio. Talk about the bonus we're going to get with America. Talk about whatever commissions you have. And what ends up happening is that when you're visiting with a client, what happens is that your mind gets set on the money you're going to make on the deal instead of making the deal go through. Let me give you some examples of what I'm talking about. An agent called me this week and said, Joe, I put the client with Ciaccio and they got declined because of an MVR report. What is that? It's a motor vehicle report. Every carrier looks at clients' underwriting differently. The less expensive the program is, more likely the tougher the underwriting is going to be. The longer the look back, the longer for not smoking, MVR reports. So you need to know your applications before you start telling the client a price. Because what ends up happening, your mind is focused on the extra commission, the cheap price, and you go straight to that carrier. You gravitate there because you feel that's how you're going to make a sale, because you've got the cheapest thing out there. And what ends up happening is most of the time you do make a sale, yet when you don't, you want to jump off a bridge. So we got to sit and take a step back and say, what can I do to use more common sense to where I can make a sale and make it stick? It's not all about price. It's not all about commission. What we need to look at is that what can I do to put this client on the books to give them peace of mind and to where I can make some money. I've got about a half dozen examples I want to give you on how some of us move too quick and we don't do the right thing. Every carrier except for Royal Neighbors and Transamerica on the simplified issue have no height weight charts. Guaranteed issue is a given. No height weight on any of those there. So when you're sitting with a client and you don't ask the height weight questions, don't get mad at anybody but yourself when it comes back and they're declined or they're given a guaranteed issue because you did not look at the height weight chart, and then call me and say, Joe, I didn't know there was a height weight chart. Joe, I didn't know where to look for the height weight chart. Joe, I had it, but I didn't have it with me, so I was kind of going on memory. Common sense says that's not smart. When you sit with a client, we need to make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's. So either when you're doing a phone interview, an e-app, or you're submitting a wet app, you're submitting it to where you're 99.9% positive it's going to get approved. When a client sits and tells you, my health is great, that does not mean clean sheet it and put no to everything and submit the application. It means that they made a statement to you. You need to follow up with them and say, fantastic, I need to ask you these health questions because these are part of the rules I've got to follow. I'm going to go kind of quick. I think I'm going to hand you an application. Let's run down this real quick. I know everything's going to be no, but it's just part of my job. So what you're doing is you're letting the client know you're doing your job properly. You're not making any shortcuts. You're not deviating from the way you're supposed to do it. So if something does pop up, which it most of the time does, you can sit and make a transition at that time. Because what ends up happening is saying, my health is great, you give them a note, all the questions, you submit it, you get declined, you've given them a fantastic price. Now you got to come back and offer them something that costs more, and now they don't want it. Joe, I'm a good salesperson, I can overcome that hurdle. Well, why do you want to overcome that hurdle when you can prevent it in the beginning. To me, the name of the game is to get in front of the client, get to know them, go through the proper steps to get them qualified, pick the right carrier, and from there get them issued. This is a very simple process, and then hope their payment goes through. Okay? Now, we talked about height, weight. Royal Neighbors, Transamerica has no height, weight questions. You have somebody you feel embarrassed to ask them the question, go to those two carriers. Every other carrier has height, weight. Term has different height, weight. Term height, weight is a lot less than simplified issue. Why? Because simplified issue is priced for that. So when you have a product that is priced for a higher person in weight or different medications, that does not go the same with whole life, goes the same with term. These are things you've got to remember. Another common sense thing is that when you go to a client's house, you say, how you doing? My name is Joe. You sent this card. And they say, man, I'm so happy you're here. I've been looking for some coverage, and I need to make sure that I get immediate coverage. I don't want no waiting period. Now, what does common sense tell you? Why is that client telling you that there? Could they be an educated client? Possible. Could they have done their homework before? Possible. Could they have read the fine print in the mail stuff they've received? Was normally a 2-year waiting period. Okay? Or did they get declined? Did they get rated? Did they go from what they thought was immediate to a modified, or graded, or guaranteed? You don't know. So common sense says, I need to find out why. It's not to say, Joe, that's a buying signal. They want immediate benefits. They know what they're talking about. Well, they do know what they're talking about. Yet, do you feel that you really understand why they're saying that? You need to take a step back and ask them, why would you think you'd get something other than immediate benefits? Kind of pull back a little bit. Kind of ask yourself, why are they asking me this question here? My thoughts is that something transpired before. Now I'm going to sit and ask them, have you applied before? Have you had insurance before? Has another agent been here? Have you applied for something and not gotten immediate benefits? Now what you've got to do, you got to be smart and read that body language. Look at those eyes. Look how they're returning the question, the answer to your question. Common sense. Okay? Agent called me yesterday. Said, Joe, I've got this lady that wants to buy some insurance. Know the family. She's a great person. I can basically visualize her family in my mind. She's 88 years old and she wants to get coverage. So I said, okay. She says, but I think she has a little bit of illnesses. I said, well, we got one carrier that I'm aware of that would take somebody at that age, yet there could be nothing wrong. Nothing. Okay? So, get on the phone with the lady, and she tells me, yes, sir, my mother's will be 88 today. We spoke yesterday. Be 88. She's in perfect health. I said, okay, let me run down the health questions, and then from there, the agent will get with you so we can complete the application. But I said, I'm going to kind of pre-qualify you to see if your mom qualifies for the program. So we start going through the thing, come down, and it says, the word is, are you dependent on a wheelchair? There's a pause on the phone. Every question I asked was a no, a no, a no, a no. Does your mother use or is she dependent on a wheelchair? Silence. She says, well, she uses it sometimes when she goes outside. Okay. So now I'm saying to myself, well, why? Well, Joe, she had a stroke a little bit over 2 years ago. And when she walks, sometimes, it's just better for her because her body's a little bit messed up. So, okay. So I'm saying to myself, she is dependent on that wheelchair. So I told the lady, the daughter, and I told the agent that works with us, let me call the carrier up and find out for sure. I was 99% sure it was going to come back as an answer to the question yes, which means a do not submit. So, call the carrier up. The guy says, Joe, Great question. Since she needs it when she goes out, okay? Because in the house she uses a walker, she uses a cane, she kind of walks on the, with the sofa, the chair. She doesn't need it. But since she is dependent when she's outside, it will be a yes, which is do not submit. Now, can you look into those applications and go a little bit gray? You got to do what you got to do, okay? To me, there's no pillow so soft as a clear conscience, because what ends up happening, you're going to write junk business, and it's going to get declined when the person dies within the first 2 years. So what have you accomplished? You made the client happy, but now you've got a charge back, and you're right back to square one. You need to use common sense to ask these questions. Now, common sense has a lot to do with, am I practicing my front door approach? Am I learning how to overcome objections? These are all things about how to do better at what you do. Am I doing a proper warm-up? Is my transition smooth? When I'm going through the health questions, am I speaking too fast? Do I give the client an application to look at so we can do it together so they can see when the end is coming? When they answer the questions, am I getting to know them a little bit better before I go in for the kill? Am I going over how the program works properly to where they understand it and allow them to ask questions? These are all things we got to sit and think about when we're going through it, because it's not a hello, yes, how much, fine, sign. I wish it was that easy. Yet, when you take your time and you analyze each client individually and separately and go through the process and you do not deviate, you don't make shortcuts, you're probably going to make a whole lot more money. And what's going to end up happening is going to prevent you from giving them a carrier that they don't qualify for, and kind of like going to a card game and saying, okay, here's my hand. This is all my cards here. I'm going to show them to you. Then you do this way here and you say, well, sorry, sir. Can't do it that way. We got to do it a different way now. The guy says, well, Joe, I already saw you had 3 aces and 2 kings. You got to give it to me now. You got to. And now you're saying to yourself, I'm so sorry. I made a mistake. I didn't ask you all the questions. I was rushing. I was deviating. I had an appointment in 20 minutes. I need to make a car sale. Oh, my check's about to bounce. So I just wanted to try to make a sale. I was trying to scoot under the radar. And what you're doing, you're hurting yourself. Think about it. If you really use some common sense and you sit and you think, if it was to take me an additional 5 minutes to do a little bit more digging and prying and asking and talking and discussing to where I feel comfortable telling them this is the best carrier, this is the best program, this is the best monthly premium, you're going to end up doing better, because now you don't have to come around the block to try to save it, increase their premiums when you've already given them the full house. This would be very challenging. You run a great possibility of them saying no. Now, common sense means just doing things a little bit slower, thinking before you speak. A lot of agents feel their mouth must always be moving because that is the sign of a successful agent. Incorrect. The sign of a successful agent is an agent who listens, thinks about what the client is saying, analyzes what they're saying, asks them questions back, from there processes it, throws it into a blender, and says, this is what I think is best for you. And here's the beauty. If you're with a client and you're doing that, it goes around the blender. You got it on chop, you got it on spin, you got it on vibrate, you got it on all those settings, and you're still not sure, you can call me. You can call your manager. You can call the carrier's underwriter. It's okay to reach out for assistance. 5 minutes, guys. If you call me and say, Joe, I've got this, this, and this, by the time you call and Jay answers the phone and you say, Jay, this is Judith. I'm in the home with a client. I need to talk to Joe. That's 5 seconds. Jay comes and gets me. I hang up the phone with an agent or put him on hold. I get on the phone and you tell me the story. It takes me 2, 3, 4, even if it takes me 4 minutes to give you an answer, you're still within that 5-minute window of putting that client with the right carrier to where you get an issue. Commission is important. Bonus from carriers is important. But none of that matters if it does not get issued, placed, and their payment is made. Makes no difference. Joe, man, we got some great carriers and got that big commission, the big bonus I've got. And all of a sudden, you write no business because what you're doing, you're trying to go the cheap way. The cheap way, because Joe is cheap. They said they can't afford much. Common sense says, and I've said this before, it's natural for everybody to sit and say, I can't afford much. My budget is tight. I need something cheap. It is something that we all say. And if you sit and you think about it and you start recording yourself, you probably do the same thing, maybe in a different way, yet you mean the same thing. Nobody will spend more money. To take the money from my pocket to give it to you, you got to give me a good reason why. You got to build the value for me to where I feel I'm making a great decision. Another thing on common sense. Do I deliver my policies or do I let them go in the mail? That's a decision you guys got to make. The newer the agent, I deliver each policy. If you sold a policy and the premium is $1 a month, I deliver it. Why? Because it gives you the opportunity to resell it, gives you the opportunity for that to stay on the books a little bit longer, and it's a way for you to hopefully make sure that you don't get a chargeback. When you deliver a policy, it's a smart thing to do. Joe, I don't have time. Joe, I'm on the other side of town. If you're on the other side of town, try to make one day to where you call the client up, tell them I'm going to come by. Hopefully they're there. Highlight the policy, highlight the important stuff. Go to the application in the back, highlight the beneficiaries. For some reason they're not home, you have to leave it with somebody else. Put it in an envelope. Get a little cheat sheet. Your name's on page 1. The face mount's on page 2. Go to the back. I've got some stickies there to show you the beneficiaries. Take a little bit extra time. Because if you guys sit and you think about it, we're always in the selling mode. We want to sell, 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 sell. Sometimes we got to be in the selling mode as well as the conserving mode. The take my time mode. Pat the client on the back mode. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think that if you would have delivered more of your policies, that you would have less chargebacks? I think the answer is yes. Okay? I think the answer is yes. If you sit and you think, all you want to do is sell, 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 and you're not really worried about the ones you've already sold, let them deliver to the policyholder, and you're not going to worry about it. What ends up happening is that you're basically spinning your wheels. You're doing this here. You're making $1,000 today, making $500 today. Next day you make $500. Next week you got a $450 chargeback on the advance. So you're constantly doing this and this. What if you were to take 5 minutes more out of your day or 10 minutes out of your day? What about if you start an hour early? What if you work an hour later to work it in your schedule to deliver the policies? I think you'll end up making more money. You'll end up getting a better bond with that client. Another thing for you to look at is, another common sense, is referrals. What an opportune time to make referrals. To take your time, thank you, Jeremy. Do referrals, do referrals, do referrals. Joe, I don't like doing it. I'm not going to get into doing referrals today. Yet, referrals is something that you need to do. You don't have to do it. Should you do it? Yes. Costs you nothing. Think if you deliver the policies and you've actually put a bow on the policy, they've said, Joe, thank you very much. You've given them a couple extra company cards. You put your company card, attach it to a magnet, put it on the refrigerator, giving them some coffee cups, giving them something, giving them a calendar towards the first of the year. What's a better time to sit and say, are you happy with everything I've done for you, Ms. Jones? Did I accomplish all your goals to give you the peace of mind for you, Ms. Jones? Yes, yes, yes. Great. Is any friends of yours, family members, or children, or grandkids that I can go visit to help them out like I helped you out? Don't talk. Don't talk. Let them talk. Think about it. Think about if you were to use common sense and get some guts and ask for referrals. Common sense in life is a very important thing we have to always think about. You're going to make mistakes. I make mistakes. I still make mistakes. Yet the secret, I feel, is that when I make a mistake, try to learn by it so I may not do it again. Or if I make a mistake, what can I do to do it better? And since we're in sales, the smartest thing I'm going to tell you about sales is to record yourself and listen to what you sound like. Listen to your tone of voice. Listen to your delivery. Listen to the words that you choose. Listen to when you're in between a sentence, if you're speaking, mumbling, or doing the oohs and the ahs and the e's. That is one common sense thing I'm going to ask you guys to do. All you got to do is bring your phone in, hit record, put it upside down, and that's it. Still within your 5-minute window of opportunity to make money. So with that said, height, weight questions. If the limit says 270 and you put them at 271, don't call the carrier, don't call me, don't call nobody and get mad because the carrier screwed you. They've got rules. You got to stay within the rules. They got a bad MVR report, you got to put them with a different company. If they're on certain meds, you got to put them with certain companies. When they say they want the cheapest program, say I'm going to get that for you, do your homework, and put them with the cheapest program that they qualify for. Deliver your policies, ask for referrals. It's not all about commission. It's about placing the application to give you the opportunity to have that money put into your checking account to where it stays. That's it, guys. Have a great day. Hit them hard. I appreciate your hard work. If you got any questions, either call myself, your manager, and as always, we love you. Have a great day. Bye.